Alright guys, today let's talk about products in the Pokemon TCG and why we choose the products we do when it comes to investing and just speculating in the Pokemon world. Now, of course, there's always pros we discuss on most items. What are the pros of this? What are the pros of that? What are the good things for doing this? Why we do that? These are all things that we discuss. But what about the cons? What are the cons or the reasonings on why we may not go that direction? Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, hit that like button, guys. We can get 50 likes in this video. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps us out a ton. So go ahead and hit that like button before you leave to help us out. You guys have been doing fantastic and moving us right along. So today, we're just going to go right into it. Now, when I talk about pros and cons, there's a lot of things that when we're trying to weigh whether or not a product is something that we should be going into and whether or not it's something that's valuable, is to start weighing it out by pros and cons. What's the good things about this product and what could really add up to some really good items? And what are some bad things about this that could really turn us off from them that maybe would suggest that it's not the best? And today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some information. And I'm going to let you guys make the decisions based on the information. I mean, I'm going to inject some of what I feel about them. Of course, it's just natural to do that. But I just want to really give you the points that you should be looking at when it comes down to you to decide how you want to invest or speculate in Pokemon TCG, especially here as we invest into Pokemon in 2022. First thing I'm going to talk about is booster boxes. Now, everybody talks about booster boxes. Booster boxes, the pros of it, of course, are is that they're the best price per pack. They're the least expensive. You can usually get them on release around $3 to $3.25 a pack inside of these booster boxes. There's some great opportunities to really pack away a lot of packs at a good price, and down the road, they do extremely well. So if you look at them, they're some of the highest gainers. So that's the next point is that we have a lot of good gains on booster boxes in the history of the Pokemon TCG. Historically, it's been one of the better gaining items. They can actually do extremely well, especially as they get past that 2-year print area, go out of print, and then you really see that gain start to add up pretty quickly. Next thing is that I call booster boxes kind of the gold standard of a set. And you think about it, for most investors or speculators, what's the first thing that we look at when it comes to finding out the health of a set? The booster box. You go to eBay, you go to TCG Player, you look at the search history of most of ours, and it's usually every single booster box in a set that we've been investigating or speculating on, and definitely going into that part of it. A booster box is definitely the standard that tells us how the health of that TCG is doing. Next part I'm going to put in here is that they're safe to store. They're dense, they're heavy, there's no crushability to them. It takes a lot to damage these. And when you put them in, instead of putting them upright, always lay them flat so the packs stack. It causes less chances of crushing or cupping of the packs inside of there. Even that's difficult. But for a long period of time, it's always a possibility. So I just try to eliminate all those things personally. They also take up the smallest footprint per pack of any of the products that we're going to talk about today. So definitely one of those things that if you're trying to pack a lot of packs into a small space, booster boxes are your ticket. You can get a lot of them in there. You can get it even if you're in a small home, on a small apartment, have a small storage space, whatever you've got, booster boxes can fit into just about anywhere just because of their size and how small they are. Some of the cons now. Let's just talk about the cons of a booster box. A lot of people don't talk about this, but I think it should be put out there. Number one biggest con to me is the price up front. They are the highest price on a release of any set. You're going to spend the most money on these, where if you're trying to get a lot of items versus a high dollar item, you could actually price yourself out pretty quickly on booster boxes while you could have bought more ETBs or more of some other item. That's just something to keep in mind is that they're nice because they take up a lot less storage or take up a lot less in your storage space, but actually do cost you a lot up front to do so. Even though the price per pack is great, it's still an expensive endeavor. Next thing is that they're a lot more of a solid item to sell. As they go up in value, as the price continues up, they become more and more solid for the sales. It's harder to sell them the more expensive they get. Just remember that. Look at Sun and Moon, look at XY Evolutions, go back to Black and White. The sales on these booster boxes continually gets less and less and less as the set gets more expensive and older. So just keep that in mind. As the booster box ages, it may become harder to sell. If you put yourself in the right position and you're not in a rush, that's not a problem, but just something to keep in mind at the end of the day. Next thing is that they're heavy They're heavy. When you go to ship these things, there's no airspace in them. So you're literally sending 36 packs of cards. That is a heavy weight. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to figure shipping costs and all that part of it on the backside. Be sure you remember that you're going to have a lot of weight inside of these. The other thing is too is that they are the most reprinted item in a TCG. Booster boxes are reprinted several times throughout its lifespan. It's the quickest and easiest item for a lot of these places to reprint, and so they will. TCGs or Pokemon International will always print booster box, and then they distribute it out later or over time just for the storage factor for them also. Next thing is too is that they're usually only found at LGSs or online. Your local Target, your local grocery store, your mom and pop stores, small stores, convenience stores aren't going to have these products in there. They're usually going to have the smaller items, less pricey items, while booster boxes are kind of an LGS exclusive or an eBay or an online. Also, finding cartons of them can be very difficult unless you are friends with an LGS or have an outside source that has direct connections to a distributor. But all these things are to be considered. Like I said, I want to give you the pros. I want to give you the cons. I want you to have the information to make your decisions for yourself. Next thing I'm going to go into is Elite Trainer boxes. Now, Elite Trainer boxes are another really good gainer. Number 1 point. They do extremely well on gains. Some of them outperform booster boxes, but at least they stay hand in hand on the percentage gains when it comes down to it compared to a booster box. That's why there's always that debate, which is better, booster boxes or ETBs, and that's where that comes from. They actually do gain extremely well. Next thing is that they are a lower price. Once again, one of those items that's fantastic when you're looking at getting a lot of items versus one big item. If you're trying to do that, ETBs give you your best chance at that. With $40 to $50 price tags, compared to $110 to $140 for a booster box, you can get 2 to 3 ETBs for every one booster box. Definitely something to keep in mind when you're actually trying to decide how you want to do this. Number 2, they're safe to store. They're a rigid, hard box. It takes a lot to smash one of these or damage one, so just keep that in mind when you're trying to store things. They're rigid, they stack nice, they have a nice flat surfaces, and you can stack them up high and keep them up in the air and have no issues with them falling over or causing damage to themselves. Next thing is that they are a collector's favorite. A lot of collectors love ETBs. You look at the new one for Brilliant Stars with Arceus on it. Fantastic artwork. People are going to really want this. You go back to Evolutions, even the Mew boxes for ETBs look great in a collection. They're nice to put on a shelf in a collection of cards or inside of figurines. They work well, and everybody wants them for collectability. Next thing is that they are a medium seller, meaning they sell a little bit easier than a booster box when it comes down to it. People are willing to pay a little bit extra for an ETB or pay it quicker on an ETB than they are a booster box. Once again, you're dealing with collectors that are not necessarily looking to open packs. They're just looking for something that looks good on their shelves. This is a multifaceted item that can be used to open packs and also be used for the collectability of it. Next thing is that they can be found at most retailers, which is awesome. You can go to just about any store, Walmart, Target. A lot of your smaller stores, convenience stores will carry ETBs. They're great, small. They don't have to be watched. They don't have a large theft problem for them because they are a little bit bigger. So your bigger stores, chain stores, definitely do like these products. LGSs carry them. Online sales are extremely good on these products. You can find them just about everywhere. Great opportunities there when you're actually trying to buy these and get them into your collection or into your investment portfolio. Quite easier to find compared to a booster box. Now let's talk about some of the cons of these. Number 1, they have a medium storage footprint. Now what I mean by that, they are a bigger box. You only get 10 of them, and if you actually look at the storage per pack, you are not getting nearly as many packs in the same space as a booster box. Obviously, you're only getting 8 packs in pretty much a space that's bigger than a booster box compared to the 36. So just keep that in mind, that if you are in a small home or a small space, the amount of these will actually add up incredibly quickly for the amount of space that they take up, which may factor into how many of these you can purchase versus a booster box. Next thing is that it's a medium price per pack. Once again, you're paying for an ETB, this big box with all this other stuff in it, and that price of that pack really starts to go up. If you look at it in general terms, you have to almost buy 5 ETBs in order to cover the cost or get the same amount of packs as one booster box, which means you might be at about $160 to $180 worth of ETBs in order to actually catch up to a booster box with that 36 packs. So you're going to surpass usually the price of a booster box in order to get the same amount of packs. Last but not least is that you are paying for a lot of extra stuff. You're buying, you got to remember, you're buying sleeves, you're buying dice, you're buying counters, you're buying poison and burn coins. You're buying sometimes a special promo card inside of these packs, plus all of the extra space and things that are inside of it that really aren't necessary when you're looking at reselling packs for investment purposes. So these actually can add up to being a lot of wasted space and cost that realistically you could have put towards a booster box. But once again, they sell really well and they're really good for quick sales. So definitely some factors to look at when you're looking at ETBs. Last thing that I'm going to put up here are 2 items: V boxes and VMAX boxes and tins. There's a lot of similarities between these, and there's some little changes in them, but realistically we can cover both of these and pretty much do them all at once. So what we're going to look at is the pros of V boxes and tins. Number one pro of these is that they are displayable. Both V boxes, VMAX boxes, and tins all have a displayability factor to them. They look good on shelves. They're nice little eye catchers. They actually have the nice little promo cards up front of the tins, up front of the boxes. Boxes, of course, come with that nice little jumbo promo as an extra inside of them. Once again, one of them nice little items that actually can be used in a collectability show-off type deal. Next thing you want to look at too is that they come with those special promos. Some special promos can only be found sometimes in these tins and V boxes, especially the jumbo promo inside the V boxes. So if you're trying to get that promo collection set, you have to remember that you have to purchase the tin or the box or buy them singly in order to get those. So in the future, people that are trying to finish these special collections or special promo card sets will definitely be looking at these in the future to get those. Next thing you got to look at too with them is, especially when it comes down to where you can get these. You can get them at almost all retailers, whether it's Walmart, Target. You can get them even sitting at Dollar General, Family Dollar, all the way down to small chain retailers carry these tins, and most of the time they carry the V boxes also. I found these both at Dollar Generals and Dollar Trees, so easily found. One of those items that if you're trying to collect these and get them into your spaces or get them into your portfolios, definitely easy to find. Get in there and be able to find them just about anywhere at retail. Now we're going to go into a mixed one. This is kind of a pro and a con, which is kind of interesting. Not too many items have one of each. But the one thing that I will say about tins and V boxes is that they have a variety pack in them, meaning they have multiple sets inside of the box or tins. One thing I don't like about tins with that is that if you buy a tin like the V Power tin, you buy a tin from last year, they came out first last October, and now they came out again this October, they're completely different packs. So if you put these in your investment portfolio and you don't remember where you bought them or if you mix them together, you will never know which tin carries which packs until you open them. That's a big downside when it comes to an investor or a collector trying to buy these tins. When they're looking for specific packs to open, they won't be able to find them inside of there. Once again, that's one of them small problems that I have with tins. V-boxes, at least, they are a variety pack, but of course you can see what the variety packs are inside of them, so you can make that decision if whether or not you want to purchase it by looking at the front window of them. The one thing that is kind of a pro to this is that people do enjoy a variety pack sometimes. Sometimes people want multiple different sets to have fun and just open up, and these items give them that opportunity to do so. The con is if you don't like variety packs and you want a specific set, there may only be one of those packs inside of these items, which then could be a huge turnoff for the sales part of this product. Now, we're going to go ahead into the cons now. Once again, these are both the largest airspace per box. There is a lot of plastic, a lot of air, a lot of nothingness inside of these packages that really are a downside to them, especially when you look at the the space per pack. They take up a ton of space. You look at what you get at them. 10 of these tins fit in the same space as an ETB box, and realistically, you don't get nearly as many packs. Secondly, the V boxes are in a huge box, all airspace, really difficult to store, and I don't like these for storage because if you do not have them in a case or a carton, they get crushed extremely easy. You can get a lot of damage to them fast. They rip on the edges. The flaps will get ripped open with the displayability on the front. There's a lot of issues when it comes down to the actual storage of these. Tins are a little bit better for the storage just because they are rigid, but I've also seen them get dented pretty easily just by getting hit or dropped or moved. There's a lot of things that can happen on that factor too with tins. Once again, a little bit more shelf stable than the V boxes, but they take up a lot of space when it's done at the end of the day. Now, once again, you're looking at price. You're looking at $20 to $35 for either one of these items, and you're only getting between 4 to 7 packs inside of there. So once again, you're paying a lot of money for a lot of extra stuff that maybe isn't necessary for your investment. So always keep that in mind. These are the highest price per pack. The packs inside of these can range between $5 and $6 per pack if you eliminate all the extra stuff. And once again, for investment purposes, when we're looking at price per pack, that can really be a downside to these items. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of break these down. Look at pros, look at cons. That way you can really sit there and make the determination for yourself whether you like boxes, but just know that they take up a lot of space. But they're a lot less in price, so you can purchase more of them. These are all things to take into consideration. I just want to bring it to you because it's not really something a lot of people talk about, is the cons of these items. Everybody just gives you pros and why you should buy it or why you should get this. But there is a whole spectrum on why we make these decisions on that. So hopefully I brought you guys some good knowledge today. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit that notify as always so you know when we're doing this kind of information. Last but not least, hit that like button, guys. We can get 50 likes in this video. You guys are doing fantastic at doing that for us. And as always, I'll put up these 2 videos up over here for you for your information afterwards. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.